In the beginning of time, power supplies that met the requirements of a lot of diodes were few and far between. It was a nightmare locating a proper power source for the works of art now known as laser helmets. However, times have changed and we've been able to get these great power supplies that have the right voltage and plenty of amps. Greetings from the corner office of the Overmacho Grande compound in sunny North Florida. I'm Overmacho Grande, and here is the answer to our power supply prayers. There are a few different incarnations of these out there, and the model numbers vary a bit, but most of the ones I get are 3.3 volts, and they have a little voltage knob so you can turn it up a bit to account for the wiring inefficiencies. And they can handle up to 20 amps, which is a lot. Certainly enough for anything we're doing, and there are even some out there that can handle up to 50 amps. Now, the best thing about this power supply is that it does work worldwide. This is one of the most common questions I get, so I thought I'd address that right here, right now. What I wanted to show you is that there is actually a little switch inside the steel case. These power supplies can handle a range of 100 volts to 240 volts and both 50 and 60 hertz, which is everywhere on the planet. And there is a switch, as indicated by this yellow sticker on top here, that puts you in the range of 110 volts or 220 volts. Some of the older models do it automatically, but all of the new ones have this switch. Well, the switch is hard to see, right? Well, let me show you one of my favorite paperweights here. It's an open power supply. Don't do this to yours. You'll actually use a nail, a small screwdriver, a paper clip, or something else small to switch it through the case. So, you can see the switch here. 220 volts is towards the direction that I consider the front, which is where the wires go. 110 volts is toward the back. When I send these with my helmets, I switch them to the proper setting. But you have to remember that if, for example, you're in North America and you travel with this to Europe, Australia, or pretty much most other places in the world, you're going to have to switch it to 220 volts. If, for example, you live in Australia and you're going to live in Japan for a few months, you're going to have to switch it to 110. Remember though, don't remove this cover. Switch it through the case. Okay, so let's talk about the plug. This is the North American style. If you live in another country, all you would need is just a small, simple adapter to change this from my style to your style. Nothing fancy. You don't need a voltage converter because this is a voltage converter. You just need to switch the switch and literally use a cheap adapter to change the shape of the metal prongs. It doesn't make sense for me to carry these adapters for every country because they aren't readily available over here. So I'd either have to get them shipped from either where you are currently living or China and then just ship them back to you. So that just add cost to the helmet, and I try to cut out as many inflated costs like that as I can to bring you the best deal. Okay, just to quickly cover the wiring of the power supply, let me show you this up close. You'll see different variations of this, but usually it's pretty much the same. The three left ports are for the power cord, and the other ones are for the device. Now, the colors will differ for each country, but in the US, the black wire from the power cord goes into L, which stands for live. The white wire from the power cord goes into N, which stands for neutral, and the green goes into the ground, which is either going to say FG, like this one, or have the grounding symbol that looks sort of like an upside down Christmas tree. Now, like I said, this is going to change with every country, so you need to look that up. With the right side, these are the wires that come from the helmet. The black or negative wires will go into this side, which are labeled G, V minus, or COM. The positive side will go into the V plus side. And that's pretty much all you need to know about the wires. So, now you understand more about the power supply. And remember this important message. Just owning a power supply like this, or an awesome laser helmet, isn't enough. You actually have to use it, and use it right to get results. Take care, stay tuned, and may every year your hair look better than the last.